Oh, sorry, I didn't think I had a newspaper list. I'll share yours.
Oh, thanks.
But I have got one.
There's things I have to put up with. 7:42. This is Breakfast with Stephen and Ellie, as you can tell. Let's go through the papers with author Ella Whelan and former advisor to Jeremy Corbyn, James Schneider. Morning to you both. Ella, Sunday Times. Let's talk about the bad boy of Brexit.
Yes, Aaron Banks is back in the news, sort of.
I just picked this out because I thought it's just the ongoing sort of will he, won't he story about Boris Johnson is sort of interesting, and this is picking up on the fact that there has been allegedly discussions with Lord Crothers, who's makes no secret of the fact that he's a big Boris Johnson fan, and an ally who has been having drinks and discussions with Aaron Banks, and, you know, Crothers being the president of the Conservative Democratic Organisation, which has been set up as a means of sort of, again, allegedly trying to steer the party in a particular kind of way. And this is obviously all about Brexit. Aaron Banks, for anyone who doesn't remember him, was the man behind, or some of the financing behind UKIP and Leave.eu, very big in the Brexit campaign. A very influential man in many ways, but it's sort of interesting that even, on a broader perspective, the question of Johnson's return is quite tightly tied to questions about Brexit. And I think that's quite interesting because it tells you that there is this, despite the fact that I think Rishi Sunak thinks he's tied everything up in a nice little bow now with the Windsor Agreement, and, you know, the fact that it did receive quite a huge majority in Parliament, and they sort of, a lot of politicians now think that's it, put it to bed, never ever mention the B word again. Whether or not Boris Johnson is going to return, and whether or not he is going to use Brexit, perhaps cynically for his own kind of desire to get back into power, is one question. But I think it reflects the fact that a lot of people, perhaps a lot of GBNEWS viewers, don't feel that this is a finished issue, don't necessarily feel like those desires and the excitement that was felt in 2016 has been realised. And I was, you get these Facebook memories and things like that pop up on your phone, and I was looking at some of the stuff from discussions we had in 2017, 2018, 2019. Even though it was a very frustrating time politically, it was also a really dynamic time. And I remember people, discussing politics really hotly, having these really important debates about the future of British politics. All of that has sort of dissipated, and so I think a return to, even though lots of people shrink in horror at the idea of return to Brexit discussions, actually I think there's a lot of unfinished business there that Johnson could capitalise on.
Yeah, I think you're also seeing it through rose-tinted glasses. I was tearing my hair out by the end of it. But there you go. There's a different perspective for you. Let's have a look at the Observer, James. Two MP, Kwasi Kwarteng and Matt Hancock, wanted £10,000 a day, were offered £10,000 a day to work for a company that doesn't exist.
This is a crazy story.
Amazing story. So some activists set up a fake South Korean company with a pretty flimsy-looking website, and then just sent off emails to a whole bunch of MPs saying, hi, do you want to work for us? And got meetings with, I think, 5 of them, and they record their Zoom interviews. They're being interviewed. Kwasi Kwarteng and Matt Hancock are being interviewed for a job by this fake South Korean investment company, which says, we want you to help us with access. We want, they put it in nicer language, to help us navigate the regulatory frameworks, blah, blah, blah. But, you don't pay someone 10 grand a day to, tell you what you can Google.
Yeah.
And I think, the amount of money, I think, will baffle people. That Matt Hancock, in the video, Matt Hancock's asked, what's your day rate? He says, yes, I have thought about this. It's 10,000 sterling, just like that. He knows what he's going to charge. And I think this goes right to the heart of what's wrong in our democracy, because if it's not just that they should be working for their constituents, it's if they are being paid by outside interests, then they are really working for them. So I think all this kind of second jobs stuff should be banned. Like if you're a nurse or your doctor, there's something where you have to keep your hand in just so that you keep up your professional qualifications. That's a different matter. But this stuff where basically big private interests are able to pay
So, in effect,
very prominent MPs.
in effect, lobbying jobs.
Yes, that's what it is, and we're lucky in this country that there isn't very much money in politics. Like, compare it to the US, which has basically enormous structural corruption. All the politicians are paid huge amounts of money from those that have it, which means that ordinary people who can't pay 10 grand a day and fly someone to a different country don't get the same say. So I think
they should have gone for Sir Graham Brady, chair of the 19th.
He was only 6 grand.
He was only 6 grand a day. That's all he wanted. Bargain.
I don't know. Do they ever do any parliamentary work at all? I mean, at this point, Matt Hancock is just. It's like he's on some kind of kamikaze mission to completely destroy himself. Either that, or he really needs to hire a new team because they're just sabotaging him again and again.
He definitely
and
needs
again.
to hire a new team. The spokesperson quote in this story is absolutely embarrassing. I mean, first it calls him Matt, and then Mr. Hancock, and then Matt again in the quote. They can't decide what they're going to call him, but it attacks the story, saying Matt acted entirely properly, and this is a leaked private conversation. Yes, of course it is, and thank you for telling us what you're trying to do without us knowing about it.
I mean, it's worrying as well how susceptible they are to this kind of prank, if you want to call it that. I mean, no homework was done on this company, on the website. I mean, it's worrying.
Yeah, that's the other element, which is that you can so you can set up a meeting where you can get this high-level access very, very easily. There's no due diligence done.
Yeah.
You hear all these worries, which I think are overstated, but nevertheless worries about TikTok on the parliamentary estate is going to allow foreign countries in. I mean, you just send an email saying we'll bung you some cash. Can we have a meeting?
Yeah, seems to work every time, doesn't it? Sadly, we are out of time. We're a bit tight for time today, but we will catch up with you in the next hour.
We'll be back.
Yeah, you will be back.
You can't get rid of us, though.
No, I don't want to. I really don't want to. Thank you both very much indeed.
Yes, thank you very much.
10 grand.